Hello and welcome to another ICD-11 video. I'm Dr. Islam Ibrahim from the National Center for Health Information, and in this video, I'll take you online shopping for the most popular ICD-11 products. Our first product is the coding tool. The coding tool is the tool used for reporting a diagnosis or health condition using ICD-11 codes. In other words, it's used for coding. There are, however, other users for the coding tool other than coders. Clinicians, for example, can use the coding tool to document or report diagnoses. That's because ICD 11 is clinically meaningful. The coding tool is completely electronic and it works very much like Google. Here is how to use it. You type the diagnosis into the search box. The tool is smart and it guesses the word you're typing and starts searching while you type. You check the search results, select the one you want, and that's it. Well done. There are multiple coding tool features that help us perform a more advanced search, like the filter and the word list. We can also access the details of each entity by clicking here to access the browser. Any rules you need for coding can also be accessed through the browser. We can add details to our diagnosis from this integrated browser. For example, we can say that the abscess was in the left lower eyelid, and we can specify the infectious agents. If you want to know more about the coding tool and how to use it, you can watch these two videos on our YouTube channel, the ICD-11 Workshop Part 1 video and the ICD-11 Icons video. Now to our next product, the browser. To explore the content of ICD 11 as a classification for mortality and morbidity statistics, we no longer use books. Instead, we use the ICD 11 browser. It's important to keep in mind that the browser is not to be used for coding because it lacks the smart features embedded in the coding tool that enable it to function for coding. We can browse the content of the ICD 11 browser by expanding these side arrows. Entities with side arrows can be further expanded to view their children. And if you click any of these entities, you would be able to see the details of the entity. If we want to find a specific ICD-11 entity, we can also use the search box. This takes us right to the entity we're looking for, abscess of eyelid. We can see on the left-hand side where it's located in the ICD-11 classification hierarchy. And on the right-hand side, we can see the same details we accessed when we opened the integrated browser from the ICD-11 coding tool. If there are any inclusions or exclusions, we'll find them here. And we can often also find a description for the entities in the browser. You might have noticed that the ICD-11 entities listed in the hierarchy appear in different font colors. That's because ICD-11 compared to ICD-10 includes new concepts like multiple parenting and user-friendly ways for displaying entities like groupings. And if you want to know more about the browser, multiple parenting, and a lot more of these new features, you can watch this video on our YouTube channel. It's called The Color of Words. Now to our third product, which is translations. ICD 11 was developed by the World Health Organization for the world, and it can be used in different languages. To view an entity in another language, we click this icon. For example, let's view abscess of eyelid in Spanish. It doesn't only have the same code, but it also has the same URI. That is a unique identifier for an entity in ICD 11. This will not change no matter what language the entity is displayed in. Let's test it. Let's take a look at this entity in Chinese. And up there, we can also see that it has the exact same URI. The thing is, there isn't really a French, Arabic, or Spanish ICD 11. There isn't even an English ICD 11. There's only one language independent foundation made up of ICD 11 entities. Each ICD-11 entity has an exclusive identity linked to a uniform resource identifier, that is, a URI. The maintenance of ICD-11 on an international level is handled in English, but because the content model of ICD-11 is language independent, this allows the binding of any desired language to the entities in the foundation, facilitating translations and multilingual browsing. If you want to browse ICD-11 using another language, you can click the language icon. Select the language you want, let's say Spanish. The whole browser is now displayed in Spanish. You can also access the coding tool and search the coding tool in Spanish. If you want to look up this word, and I'm not going to test my Spanish here because I have no idea how to pronounce this. This is abscess of eyelid in Spanish. And the coding tool works just like it would work in English. You're probably still wondering what a URI is, considering it's a new feature or a new important identifier in ICD 11 that did not exist in ICD 10. So, if you want to know more about the URI, we invite you to watch this video on our YouTube channel, Demystifying ICD 11 URIs. Now, to our fourth product, the reference guide. As you explore ICD-11, you'll naturally have many questions. And here is the ICD-11 reference from the WHO, the reference guide. It's a good introduction to ICD-11. It's not exhaustive, but it includes information and guidance on context, components, and the intended use of ICD-11, as well as rules for mortality and morbidity statistics. It's divided into three parts. Part 1 is an introduction to ICD-11. Part 2 describes how to use the classification, and Part 3 explores what's new in ICD 11. You can also use the search box to look up a certain topic. Say you want to read more about the coding tool. You get a list of the areas where the coding tool is mentioned in the reference guide. You choose the one you want and read about it. Our next product is a very special one, and that's the ICD API. ICD-11 is digital health compatible and is designed to integrate with any health information system in your hospital or health facility. In other words, you can embed the ICD-11 coding tool into any electronic medical record system. In any hospital information system, there is a place or field for documenting diagnoses. The ICD 11 coding tool can be embedded in that field so that when you type the diagnosis into your medical record, you're actually typing it into the search box of the ICD 11 coding tool with access to its full search and coding functionality. As the user documents the diagnosis, the coding tool becomes a data collection system for standardized point of care capture of diagnoses and medical terms in a way that is clinically useful and that seamlessly integrates with the clinical workflow. Once the user selects the entity from the search results, the code, the entity title, and the URI are directly recorded and saved into the database. But how is that possible? The magic is the API, which stands for Application Programming Interface. An API enables different applications to communicate with each other, to transfer data between systems. This is how the WHO opens the ICD 11 data and functionality to health information systems, irrespective of the type of software they are using. The ICD-11 API is hosted at the WHO cloud servers, and the tool can be used online. You may also choose to use it locally offline. And from a user perspective, using the coding tool offline is exactly like using it online. Your IT team, that is the IT team at your facility, can deploy the ICD-11 coding tool offline in several ways, including a Docker, Windows service, or Linux services. It is an easy process, and you can use the ICD-11 coding tool on any software at your facility for free. Our final tool is mapping. In the 1990s, when CDs replaced floppy disks, Our computers no longer had space for floppy disks, so we needed to move our data onto CDs. Later, when flash drives became common, we again had to transfer any important data that we wanted kept from CDs to flash drives. The bottom line is whenever a new technology is made available, we need to transfer important data worth keeping to the latest technology. The same applies to data coded in successive versions of ICD. We must have a way to deal with historical data coded in previous versions to make sure we don't lose it. So, how do we deal with our historical data? Well, once you've started using ICD 11, you're going to need to preserve your old data. So, we need a way to translate ICD 10 codes to their corresponding ICD 11 codes. For example, to compare reports of mortality or morbidity over time. And in countries that use a DRG system, we might need to group all data using new grouper software. This process is called crosswalk or mapping. The WHO provides free transition or mapping tables to allow us to convert data between ICD 10 and ICD 11. They are downloadable for free, and they include ICD 10 to ICD 11 crosswalks as well as ICD 11 to ICD 10 crosswalk. The files include all the details you need to do the mapping. For example, celiac disease was coded as K90.0 in ICD 10. In ICD 11, it has another code which is no, wait. In ICD 11, there is no longer a need to search for or memorize codes. By simply entering a term into the coding tool, this leads the clinician or the coder to the correct ICD code. An important point to note here is that because each ICD 11 entity has an exclusive identity through the URI, links to external terminologies like SNOMED CT can also be facilitated. Now we've seen our products, so where can we find these free products? If you scan this QR code, it gives you access to the ICD 11 homepage. From there, you can reach the browser. From the browser, the coding tool is only one click away. It's right there. Translations are also one click away. The reference guide is 2 clicks away. First, click Info, and from the drop down menu, click the ICD 11 reference guide. Mappings are also 2 clicks away. From the Info tab, the drop down menu, you can select ICD 10, ICD 11 mapping tables. This will download the tables for you. The API, which is something that the IT team is going to use, is 3 clicks away. From the Info tab, we click the ICD 11 homepage. This opens up the homepage from which we can access the ICD API. We've seen some of our products today, but don't miss our special products. There are other ICD 11 products: the Orange or Maintenance Browser, the Foundation, the Proposal Platform, the ICD Fit Training Platform, and the ICD 11 Implementation or Transition Guide. Some of these were introduced in our previous videos, and some may be topics for future videos. Thank you for shopping with us. Your order will be delivered in no time. Delivery is free of charge. See you in our next video.